Hello everybody, welcome to the video. Today our goal for this video is to teach you how to create users and groups in Ubuntu. So let's begin. I don't want to take so much time. Let's begin. So just like Windows, we create users and we assign those users to certain groups, assign permission to those groups. Now this tells the user what kind of access they have. Okay, so it's the same thing with Linux. So we have in Windows, we have what we call the users group. We have what? Administrator group, and we have so many other groups. Similarly in Windows, in Ubuntu, we have what we call the sudo group. That's for the administrators. And we also have what? The actual user groups. Okay. And usually the user groups are based on, so whenever a user is created, okay, it creates along with what? A group with the same name as what? The user. So this is how this works with Ubuntu. So I'm going to log in and we begin creating the groups and the users. Okay, so we've successfully logged in. So I'm going to begin by creating a user called John. Okay. One thing that I need to make clear is this. When we talk about users, there are two commands you can use to create users. Okay. One of them is add user and the other is what? User add. Okay. So we're going to experiment with both. But what is the difference between these two? Add user typically creates a user with the default settings unless you explicitly specify what command options to use. Okay. User add, on the other hand, is set up the user account with some sensible default settings. Okay. Just like it will create like a home directory automatically. That's what add user does. It automatically creates what? A home directory for the user and copies files, to those home directory path. Okay. But user add don't create a home directory or copy files from that directory by default. Okay. Also with user add, it is more suitable for scripting purposes, and if you don't want to interact with the user, with the process. Okay. But you will notice that when we start creating and using the command add user, you see it will start prompting for us to put in stuff, so we're going to experiment all of them in the process. So we begin with adding a user called John. So right now I am not a root user, so I cannot create a user without typing the command sudo. So I type sudo super user do. Okay, so if I begin to say, okay, let me just try it out first so that you can see the error. So user add John. So you see it says permission denied. That means that I cannot create a user without typing sudo, because if I am not in the if Anas Nanjoy, the current user, is not part of the sudo group. So this is part of the reason for this class. So first we begin by typing what? Sudo, then what? User add, then what? The name of the user, John. Okay, and you press enter. It's going to press for my password to do that. We just created what? A new user called John. So now let's add a password for John. So we have to what? Type sudo again. Password is PASSWD. Then what? The name of the user that you want to add the password to. You press enter. It's going to request for you to type the password in. You want to type the password and then retype it. You say password updated successfully. So this is how you create what? A user in Ubuntu. Easy as that. So now I want us to verify. How do we verify that this user is being created? You use that command tail. Okay, tail space etc slash etc slash passwd and press enter. So the reason why we use tail is because etc is a file, and password password passwd is a file, so it's a long file. But we know that if we just add a new user, the user will be what? At the last part. So to verify information on the last part of the file, you use what? Tail. So that's what we did. So we said tail, verify the last part of the file that is located in etc slash password. Okay. So as you can see, also there's a user called what? Anas Nanjo also as well, and there's a user called what? Student. There's a user called SSHD. So all of them are what? Users. But so you notice that at the end of each user, for example, check my name, Anas Nanjo, you see that slash bin slash bash. Also observe student slash bin slash bash at the end. But observe SSHD. But also observe SSHD. It has a slash bin slash no logon. So that tells you that that user is disabled. Whenever you see a slash an S bin and a slash no logon, it tells you that the user is what? Disabled. Okay. All right. So so we're going to now what? So now let's test the user we just created. So where we are now, we're just going to say exit to log out. So that's how you log out. Exit. So you exit and to log you out. So the user is what? John. The password we created. And you see, we are logged in with the what? The user called John. Now let's type who am I? Just to tell you the user. Who am I verifies the user that is what? Logged in. It tells you what? John. So this is how it is. So if we say pwd, you see, there's no what? Home directory. Like a home directory, like you don't see slash home slash what? Whatever. Okay. But this have what? Nothing. So that tells you that this is what I was talking about at the beginning of the video. That user add does not create what? A home directory. Okay. You see the difference when we create another user. So now let's go back and delete the user. So I'm going to log back in as Anas Nanjo. So exit. Okay. Okay. So now let's delete the user John. To delete a user is easy. You just type what? User del and then what? John. But remember, we are not root, so we have to add what? Sudo and then enter password, and it's done. So now let's verify. Tail / etc slash what? Password, and see. See, the user John is gone. Now, let's recreate the user John with the other method of creating a user. That is what? Add user. So sudo add user, not user add user. This is the other method, John, and press enter. You see, this one is more interactive. So it's requesting for you to what? Enter a password. So password, and again, and you see it's even asking for a name, John, room number, work. Just enter. If you don't want to be, if we don't want to do that interaction, is what? You just enter. So you see that we've created a user with what? Add user, and it's slightly different, as you can see, more interactive, and this definitely will create what? A home directory for us. So let's exit and use that user to log in. So exit. So John. Okay, so we verify. First, who am I? You see, you are John. Okay, now pwd. You see that it creates what? A home directory for John automatically. This is what I was explaining to you earlier. So now the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to add another user called Mary. Okay, so I'm going to let John try to do it. So to see what if John can do that. So we say add, so sudo add sorry, one second. So add user John, Mary. We will create a user called Mary. So John does not have the permission to create a user. So let's say sudo add user Mary. Sudo add user Mary. Okay, what did you see? John is not in the sudoers file. That means that John is not part of the administrators group to be able to create what? A user called Mary. Okay. So let us allow John to create a user called Mary. So we say what? Sudo add user Mary. You see that it's saying that John is not in the sudoers file. This means that John is not an administrator or is not part of the administrators group in Windows terms. But now I'm talking about Ubuntu. So Ubuntu administrators file or a group is called the sudoers. Okay? So this is to tell you that you need to be part of what? A certain group to be able to be part or do certain tasks. So the most important thing or the next important thing that I want to do is to create groups. Okay, so I want John to create a user called what? Mary. So let's do that. So sudo add user Mary. Okay, password is not correct again. Okay, what is the comment? What did it say? It said it returned an error saying that John is not in the sudoers file. For John to be able to create a user, John need to be part of what? The sudoers group. Let's put it that way. So in Windows, for a user to be able to do certain tasks such as creating the users or deleting the users, they should be part of what? The administrators group. So similarly in Linux or in Ubuntu particularly, you have to be in the what? Sudoers group to be able to perform what? Such functions. So to be able to do that, let's add John to the sudoers group. So that's what we're going to do now. So to be able to do that, I need to switch to my administrator account first. That is an ask So C, that's called switch user to who? As Nanjo, and press enter. Password for that account. And then I'm now in an Ask Ninja. So now I'm going to use my privileges to add John to the sudoers group. That's what I'm about to do right now. So it says sudo user mod. This is what you use. User mod. That's A G and then what? The name of the group, sudo. And then the name of the user, John. So sudo user mod is the command that we use to what? To add users to a particular group. Then that's A is a flag that tells the user mod that to append, not to remove. Okay, that means that John will still be in his original group, and that dash G said that okay, you can what? You are modifying the user supplementary group membership. It followed by the name of the group you want to what? Add the user to. Okay, so literally, so it's saying that add, this is just like to add to another group, but the A means that don't modify or don't remove the person from the group that they were in before. I hope if that makes sense. Okay, so I'm going to press enter. So enter and actual password. Okay, so now we can exit back to John or switch back to what? John. So now we're back to John. Now now we've added John to the administrators group, which is the sudoers group. Okay. Now John can now what? Add a user. So now let's let John add a user called what? Mary. So we say add, so sudo add user Mary. See, ask for password. Okay. So what does it say? Okay. So please enter a username matching a regular expression. Okay, I see. 1 second. Okay, because I use an uppercase, that is what happened. So it's saying that the name regis is a configuration variable. It doesn't like it. So I use a lowercase. So let's go ahead. So PAS, so it's saying that creating a directory what? home/Mary. So it's that's why we add user is much appropriate because it does everything automatically for you. So create a password, then type again, and enter, and yes. So we just created a user called what? Mary with John's account after we added him to the what? Sudoers group. Now let's see. To verify the groups that the person is at or with, you just what? Type group. Sorry, groups. So you see, right now the user that is logged in is who? John. John is a member of what? John's group. So whenever you create a user, it creates a group along with that username. Okay, and that is just the users group. Now John is also part of what? The sudo group, because we just added John to the sudo group to be able to create Mary. Okay, so let's switch to Mary. So let's clear the screen first. So switch to Mary. So su Mary, and then password. So now we are in Mary account. So let's verify what groups Mary belongs to. So groups, you just type groups. So Mary is only a member of what? The Mary group. So that is how you verify groups within an account. So in this next segment, we're going to learn how to create what? Groups. So, but before we do that, let's finally use the command delete a group, a member, a user. How do you delete a user? It's what? Sudo. So let's exit. Let's switch to the admin account first, to my account. Okay. So exit or switch user. Anas. Enter. Okay, this I can delete all the other accounts. So let's delete the user account for Mary. So we said what? Sudo user del. This is the command you use, and the name of what? The user. So Mary. So because Mary is currently being used by a process, I want us to first exit out first. So exit, 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 exit. So all the processes for those accounts. So I'm signing out, kind of like that. Okay. So okay, perfect. So again, sudo userdel, okay, the name of the what? The user, and press enter, and then Mary is done. So we can check the users by typing the tail command. Tail, this is the command we're looking for. Oh, there you go, tail. And you can see that we just have what? Anas Nanjo and student, because I just deleted John by accident. So that's fine. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to learn how to what? Create groups. So to create a group, or just type what? Sudo, and then what? Group add. That's the command. Group add. Sudo group add. Okay. And then what? The name of the group. Let's call this my group. My group. So this is how what? You create what? A group. Now, how do you verify the group list, or where do you find the group list? The command is what? Tail, then /etc, then / what? Group, to verify, just like tail /etc / what? Password for the user's part, but for here is what? Group. Okay. And then you see that the groups that are in there right now. So we have my group, but remember we are just looking at the tail end of it. We can also look at the head. Okay, so let's check the head. So this is the tail. What we are looking for is my group. The one we create is there. So now let's check the head. So head, see, from the very top you should be seeing like root, you know, Damien, bin, and we have sysadmin, news. So all of these are all there. Okay, so all these groups are all there. So now we've learned how to what? Add a group, and how to what? Verify how to verify that the group has been what? Created, using the head, tail, to check the etc list. So we've learned. So before we got here, so now we have created a user called group, or my group. So let's verify the user group. Tail, and you see that there's a group called my group. Now if I want to add, if I want to be a member of this group, like we've already learned, let me play it first. We've already learned how to add a user to what? A group. Okay, using the what? The user mod. So sudo, then what? User mod, Then dash A means that append, but don't delete the user from whatever group they are currently in. Okay. Then dash G says that, okay, proceed to add the person to the group that you want to specify. So AG and the name of the group. So let's say my group. Okay, that's the current group that I just created, the group that I just created, and the name of the what of the user. So let's say Anas Nanjo. Press enter. Check like this. So grep, you search grep, sudo dash etc /1. So grep my group. Yep. So you see, I search the group, call my group, and to set the members, and I'm part of it. Okay. So to verify all the groups or to see all the groups that are in the system, you can use the cat command. So cat is used like to display kind of thing, you know. So if you press that enter, you will see that it's listed all the groups that are in the system. There is my group which we just created last. Okay. The students, everybody is in here for the most part, you know. So on that note, we've come to the end of the video. I think we've achieved our goals. We've learned how to add a user. We've learned how to add a group. We've learned how to add a user to a group. And we've learned how to delete a user. And oh, finally, to learn how to delete a user is easy. Okay? To delete a user, a group, you just say what? Sudo user group del, group del, then the name of the group, my group, and that's how you delete a group. Easy as that. So I'll see you in the next video where we'll be talking about permissions. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye bye.